We're going to shock the world on January 15th. You come out. That's in your hands. Let's practice what we preach a little bit. I want to open this up. We got a couple microphones. I want to open this up. I'm going to sit across the table from Xi Jinping, all right? I can sit across the table for the tough questions. Give me the hard ones.
Okay, great to see you again.
It's good to see you, brother.
I have a hard one. On the concept of unity, our country was founded on a biblically Christian worldview.
Yes.
And I, as a conservative Christian, find that I agree with a Hindu like you, a Jew like Dennis Prager, and an atheist like James Lindsay a lot more than I do with someone like Pope Francis or the United Methodist Church.
Or Joe Biden.
or Joe Biden.
Catholic Joe Biden, yeah.
So my question is, it seems like our unity as a country is now less based in spirituality and more in politics. And I'm wondering, how can we unite as a country when one half of the country is so politically averse to the other?
That's a deep question, actually. I don't want our unity to be resting on our politics, actually. It's got to be a deeper foundation than that. So let me just, since you brought up the question of faith, I'd love to tell you about my faith, if that's of interest to you all. I'm a Hindu. A little different than the standard assembly line here. Well, look, I got to know who we are, at least what our values are. So in the sense of telling you what our values are, I believe God put us here for a purpose. I believe it's our moral duty to realize that purpose. I do. And I believe that God works through us in different ways. We each have our own unique God-given gifts. But we're still equal because God resides in each of us. And I went to Christian high school, St. Xavier in Cincinnati. I can tell you with confidence that we share the same value set in common, the same value set this country was founded on. You go through history, those pamphlets on your tables are written by Thomas Paine. I wrote this one, but it's modeled after the one that Thomas Paine wrote. And it's interesting. Common sense is what it was called. You're right, common sense. And he wasn't a traditional Christian. Even Thomas Jefferson, who's one of my favorite, if not my favorite president, was a deist, not a traditional Christian. But we shared the same Judeo-Christian values that this country was founded on. I mean, the Ten Commandments, what do they say? There's one true God. Don't take his name in vain. Observe the Sabbath. Respect your parents. Don't lie. Don't kill. Don't cheat. Don't steal. Don't commit adultery. Don't covet. I didn't feel like I was reading those for the first time in ninth grade. And you look, are those foreign values? They look like it today. You go to your local DEI session at your company or your local movie theater or what they're teaching your kids in school or our universities. It feels like foreign values, but those aren't foreign values to most of us. And so I do think it's important. Half the job of the next U.S. president is not just policy. We can talk policy. Policy is important. That's half the job. Half the job, though, is reviving our national character, answering who we are as Americans. And I think especially as a younger person, especially as somebody who's different in a number of ways, I think it's my responsibility, actually, to make faith and family and patriotism and hard work cool again, actually, for young Americans. I think we can do that. And I want to tell you something, too, because I go to college campuses. I see something that some of you may not be in college campuses in the same way. Definitely Republican politicians aren't. We assume in the Republican Party that they're going to be against us, right? They're chanting right now on college campuses some of the anti-Semitic stuff, and Intifada is what they're chanting. I actually watched one of these tapes, and there was something really funny I noticed, okay? They weren't even chanting Intifada, which is the Arabic word for uprising and, viewed as sort of an anti-Jewish call. They were chanting infitada, which is just like not a word that means anything, right? Like it literally is that's the point. They don't even know what the hell they're talking about, right? They're lost. And so it's not that they're against us. They're lost and hungry for direction and purpose and meaning. And so it's up to us to be leaders again in this country. I think that in some ways we've become a nation of sheep, especially my generation. We're a nation of sheep, and a nation of sheep is what breeds a government of wolves. All right, so it's not going to be the president alone that saves this country. It's going to take pastors. It's going to take parents, coaches, teachers, every one of us. But my job as president is to swear an oath to that Constitution and to keep it so that everybody else, from parent to pastor, is able to play their role, too, in making sure that we have a deeper bond in this country. Great question, man. I'm proud of you. Thank you. We'll go here and then here.